So one of the things you do that's really hilarious is that you actually do get a car sponsor.
Yes.
After many other ones turn you down.
Yes.
And you take advantage of this by putting down Volkswagen.
Yes. Well, they had the chance to be the greatest car, and now they're a terrible vehicle that no one should ever drive. Yeah.
The power of the bully pulpit.
That's right.
So putting together the puzzle of this thing, you
Yeah.
had to make a movie that was entertaining.
That's
now,
right.
one of the things that I'm impressed with you a lot is that I think you're a very good writer. So this was harder to do than it looks. You actually take this very seriously. I mean, the brand of Morgan Spurlock is the way that you come off in public is cheery and funny, and you're making fun of everything, but you're actually very serious about this.
Well, I think there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into everything you create.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that you know, whether movies completely take a lot of work, and it's not a one-person job. You know, with this film, you know, my co-producer and co-writer, you know, Jeremy Chilnick, who he and I have now worked together for now 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's somebody who, you know, he and I get each other really well, and he gets me really well. So, you know, he and I, as we get into the edit and we start structuring the story and the you know, how we're going to weave things together through the voiceover and the pieces, you know, it's like literally we use one brain.
Mm-hmm.
We were also, and I tell you what was a huge blessing with this movie, there were two people. We also had another producer named Abby Horowitz, who came on this film, who she came from the world of advertising. And so she and I were literally the two people that were cold calling all these companies together. Like, she and I together called the 600 companies. And she's also somebody who has a fantastic sense of humor and is great at kind of letting people be at ease, you know, especially the companies that we're bringing on board. And then another huge key piece to this is Tom Vogt, our editor. I'd never worked with Tom before. Tom came from South Park, you know, in California. He'd worked with Trey Parker and Matt Stone. He'd edited like 80 episodes of the TV show. He did the film Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. He did Team America World Police. And then he said, you know what, I want to change. You know, I want to do something else. So he moved to New York and got a job cutting commercials. And so here he was in New York City cutting commercials. I met him when he first came to New York through my friend Julie Bob Lombardi, who she cut Where in the World as well as Super Size Me. And so, you know, she introduced Tom and I. She goes, you guys will get along great. And we completely did. You know, we became fast friends. And like for how the 2-3 years that he was cutting commercials, he's like, please take me away from this. He's like, I've had enough. Like, I want to do it. He goes, I want to work with you. I want to do a documentary. And then when we got the idea for this film, I called him up immediately, and I said, I've got the greatest movie for you to work on. And it literally is the marriage of everything that he's about, because it's a great marriage of commercial and comedy, and he's a genius.
So did he help you with the actual pitches that you did? Because you would go into these meetings with all these drawings.
Yeah, no, all the pitches, all the drawings were done by Joe the artist, who is a guy who's we've worked with. He's worked with us now for about 9 years. Like way back when I had my first company, and we did Super Size Me, and like all the animations in Super Size Me, like he did all the keyframes for all those animations, and now he does all of our storyboards, you know, whenever we go pitch something. And so, yeah, all those were drawn by him.
Now, but your serious message here is that you want us to all raise our consciousness about what we see.
Yeah.
And one of the things you do is you go to Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
Where there's,
Sao Paulo.
Where there's absolutely no advertising.
None. They passed a law called the Clean City Act. It's been about 6 years now, where the mayor, the whole idea behind the Clean City Act was we have so much pollution in our town in Sao Paulo, and how do we even start to deal with that? How do we even start to deal with the problems we face as a community and as a city? And he said, well, what we have to first do is we have to get rid of the distractions. Let's get rid of the things that are blocking us from being able to see this. And he rightfully said advertising is a big one of those. So they eliminated every billboard, every poster, every giant sign that's on the side of a building, every bus stop advertisement, every taxis, the buses, it's all gone.
Yeah.
And so when you're there, it's miraculous to see. And I was there 7 years ago when I was promoting Super Size Me, and it was a completely different city. It literally was like Blade Runner, the amount of advertising that was there. And now there's zero. And not only is there no advertising like that, but they've even made businesses kind of shrink down the signs that they have on their buildings. So, you know, where you have the big glow, you know, the gas station signs that are on the side of the road that say like Chevron, those are gone. And so now there's this much smaller sign closer to the store. You know, there's a certain height and size that it can be. And then on the front of the stores themselves, there's a certain amount of square meters that your sign can be on the facade, and it's remarkable.
Have you ever been to Cuba? Because Cuba's like that.
Yeah,
Havana's
no,
like
I've
that.
never been to Cuba.
You know,
I'm dying to go.
You really, there's no plate glass windows. You don't even think about that. The structural thing that there's nothing. You know,
Wow.
they're not promoting anything. They're not selling anything.
That's right.
It's very, very bizarre.
Yeah.
Now, one of the deals that you made with Palm involved that you had to have the movie show in X number of markets, and it had
for us to get all the money.
Explain that.
Well, so Palm agreed to come on as not only the official beverage, but the above the title sponsor. So they got two for the price of one. They got a win-win.
And you're swigging it the
as
whole
I,
way.
as I'm drinking Palm the whole way. So the deal was for $1 million. So they gave us $600,000 up front. $500,000 went to the production of the film. The other $100,000 went to the production of a commercial, because it's the first time ever that we have a film where there's actually 30-second commercials in the movie. So the top 3 sponsors have spots throughout the film. And so, so the additional $400,000 that's remaining is all tied to like a step deal. Mm-hmm. So we have to get a certain number of media impressions. We have to be released in a certain number of theaters worldwide. We have to reach a certain amount of box office worldwide, and we have to have a certain number of downloads and DVDs.
So you were really into when Sony Pictures Classics picked or Sony worldwide.
Sony Studios, Sony Pictures Entertainment picked up the film, and Sony worldwide, but it's not, they're only distributing in the States. But it's being serviced by Classics, who Classics so knows how to put out a movie like this. I mean, Tom Bernard and Michael Barker are brilliant. They're really smart, and they have such a crew of people. And we were talking to other distributors, and this was such the right choice. When coming out to the release of this film.
Although people don't think of them as a distributor where movies go out really wide.
Well, I think, I agree and I disagree. It's like when a film really works, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon went wide. That movie went really wide.
That's the one that they can always claim.
But that's the thing. It's like when you have a film that works, it'll go wide. And I think that if it continues to do well, I think we have the opportunity to trigger Big Sony to hit the switch, and suddenly we can go from 400 screens to 1,000 screens. If we start to capture real excitement.
It plays really well at festivals. There's no question about that. I mean, I can see it.
And outside of festivals, we've been having word of mouth screenings that aren't people who come to festivals, which I think is that's been the real test for me, as we've gone to Boston, and we've gone to Boston, San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, even Miami when I was there, who aren't just film festival crowds. They're not just like cinephiles. And so we've been having screenings of people that you solicit to come to a movie, and it's been great. So so for me, knock on wood, so long as we can continue to find people who will want to come see a film like this, and that's the whole reason behind making a film like this funny, is a documentary usually on a Friday night is like the 3rd movie you want to see, maybe 4th on a list of like all the films that are opening. And the goal is hopefully by adding humor to it, you can at least jump it up. The film plays like a comedy. It doesn't
it's very funny.
It doesn't play like a doc. It plays like something very, very different. And hopefully you can capture that excitement on a Friday night as somebody's about to drop down their $12 to $14.
All right. Well, enjoy receiving your. No. Oh, here's the other.
Yeah.
The Palm people, did they approve the other extra for the DVD, the other ad? That
They absolutely
didn't
did not approve it in one bit. But ultimately, since I retain final cut of the movie, I can put whatever I like.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.